Hey, this is Rachel Bowen from Skid Row, and you are watching CMS TV. Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
What else you got there?
I'm going to send you the link because the audio will sound better if you play it than I play it for this the Ed Trunk stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me copy this link.
This is some yapping about...
Dude, he is so obsessed
with the backing track
thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. I don't even disagree with all his points in this. I'll give my 2 seconds in front of it, but
okay.
I don't disagree with what he's saying, but my man needs to calm down.
Yeah, I know. It's just like you can cover that subject once, maybe twice, and then you move on to something else because we got your feelings on it, Ed.
Yeah.
We understand, your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and
you made it clear, so what else can you expound on here?
And as you'll hear in this segment, not only does he make it clear, but he makes it clear in true Ed Trunk style that it's all about him that people are talking about backing tracks.
Sure.
That's the only reason people are talking about it is because of him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because nothing can happen without the great Ed Trunk.
Right. Well, he is the purveyor of all things metal.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you send this thing?
Your email.
Okay. I'm refreshing here, trying to see where it is.
It should be there. It's just text. Did it go to spam?
I don't know.
Did I send it? Yeah, I sent it.
All right.
Did you get it?
No, not yet.
Fuck.
Not yet.
Oh, let me forward it.
Spam. I don't think it did. Nope, didn't go to spam.
I'll forward it to CMS requests as well. There. Well, now I've sent it to both.
There it is. It finally showed up.
All right.
Finally showed up.
There we go.
All right. All right.
But yeah, this is Ed talking again about the backing tracks.
Okay.
Though I do truly feel that it is the most important issue right now in live music.
This is the most important issue in live music, not being raped by Live Nation and not paying exorbitant ticket prices and trying to recover from the pandemic and all these other things. This is the most important.
This is the most important fact in rock music today.
Okay, I think I can think of higher priorities than this, but okay. All right.
And that is the thing that I've been beating the soapbox about for a few years now.
Beating the soapbox?
Yeah, I've never heard that phrase before.
Or beating the drum or standing up on your soapbox.
Look, he's boiling down to brass tacks. To quote another famous philosopher in speech.
I've never heard anyone beat the soapbox.
I've never heard him beat the soapbox. I've never heard him boil down to the brass tacks.
Or stand on a drum.
Yeah, stand on the drum.
I've been standing on the drum for years on this.
Right.
Beating my soapbox.
Beating my soapbox. What the hell, Ed?
And when was the last time you actually saw a soapbox you could stand on?
I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what a soapbox is.
It used to come in a crate. Back in the 20s and the 30s, and people used to put up there and the curbside preachers and stuff they would stand up on a street corner or
okay.
Somebody protesting or something, and they would be elevated maybe a foot above the rest of the crowd.
Oh.
And then they would go out there and preach their word or try to get their message out. You're standing on your soapbox, announcing to the world whatever it is that's on your mind.
I was unaware. Here
we
go.
It's a great.
Jolly Jake beating a dead horse.
Yep, that's the other one.
Let's see. Here's a good one. This is more important than a marquee falling and killing someone.
Oh, that is a metal thing, but that's not quite as important as
Not as
back.
important as this.
Right.
What's this? A soapbox was just a wooden box, bars of soap.
Yeah. That they said back in the.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a crate.
Well, he's getting to it.
Okay, well, he's beating a soapbox.
That's right.
All right, and then he's going to put wheels on it. He's going to race it in the soapbox derby.
Right.
Bump. Do they still do that?
I gotta imagine like Cub Scouts or some shit do that somewhere.
Soapbox derby.
I think they do every once in a while. I think you'd have to watch news to know if it still exists.
Okay, well that is a steep little hill over there that used to be over by the Rubber Bowl, which isn't there anymore.
But that's the only way you would know is because every once in a while, when they're tired of covering the murder and death and rape in your city, they're like, in lighter news, the Cub Scouts were out having the soapbox derby.
Right, and Ed Trunk was leading the way.
That's right.
He was beating his soapbox all the way down the hill.
He was beating the soapbox on the way to the race.
All right.
Now, and been super open and honest about the whole tracks thing. And again, if anyone thinks I'm being over the top about this and you're tired of hearing about it, guess what? You're not hearing about it just from me anymore. Literally every week there's another story.
Is there another every week?
There might be, but so what?
Yeah. All right. So. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is not new. That's the part that I don't think Ed gets. This ain't new.
Yeah. This has been going on for, 20
for as long as there's been concerts.
Yeah.
This has been going on.
Sure. I mean, Milli Vanilli. It was the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, Milli, and it goes further back than that. Any orchestrated anything. You can tell me that Meatloaf didn't have sound effects and shit back in the 70s?
Sure.
Of course he did. Come on.
All right.
Every week. I mean, when I called this an epidemic for rock music, I wasn't kidding. And I absolutely did touch off conversation about this.
I did.
Yeah, I did this.
I did. I touched it off.
Me.
I started this. I started this.
No one was talking about this before me.
It was me. It was me. It was me.
Right. Me.
Like when people do interviews, it's coming up. And, the latest drama with this, and it's been endless, whether it was, the kid in Santa Cruz walking away from the microphone and the vocal coming out, or whether it was the band Falling in Reverse canceling because they admitted they didn't have their laptops, or whether it was Kiss's manager admitting Paul Stanley sings to a track, or whether it was Blackie Lawless admitting that he's singing to a track, or every day that I forget what the band was. I don't know. All That Remains. I forget what that band was. I don't want to say the wrong band. It might not have.
But you just did.
But you did.
All right.
Been them. But it was just a couple weeks ago. Guitar player. Hey, I can't make the tour, but I recorded all my stuff. You'll hear me every night on a track. It's fucking insane what's going on.
Is it? Easy. Oh my God. Is it fucking insane? This is too much. This isn't new, Ed.
And I started the conversation.
And if anybody out there has any love for the real rock live experience, if you're not outraged, if you're not like just fed up about all this, if you don't care about all this, again, as I've said repeatedly, then we're really done. We're really done.
Are we? Are we done?
Apparently, you cannot like music unless it's 100% live.
You can't go to a show and just appreciate the tunes you went there to listen to. Is that the deal?
Absolutely not.
Fuck this. This isn't live.
And Ed never goes to the other side. What about the bands that play poorly?
Yeah.
I know there's plenty of bands out there I'd rather see with tracks. There are definitely bands that I would like to see play with tracks than live.
They could benefit from the tracks.
Fuck yeah. I mean, Jesus.
Because it's never going to change. Why is it will only keep getting worse as people continue to make excuses for it and accept it. And I'm telling you, I don't want to be talking about this every day.
Well, then don't.
Then stop. It's your show.
Yeah, quit it.
It's not even like he took a call about it.
I'm not going to talk about this every day, but you do.
He brought it up. There's no caller that said, "Hey Ed, what about the backing tracks at Queensryche show or whatever band?"
And we're well aware of your thoughts on this. So
Yeah.
At what point do you put it to bed, Ed? Just accept it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you think this beating your soapbox is going to make the bands rethink their position and go, you know what? Ed's right. He's got a point. Let's really practice hard and drill it down before we don't have to use backing tracks anymore.
I'm sure after this biting segment that Falling Into Reverse started drilling holes in their hard drives. Fuck out of here, Eddie. Shut up.
Because I wish this wasn't happening. But every day there's another story. So if you think I've oversold it or whatever, think again. Because it's not me with these stories. Yeah, sure, I've made the news with some of it, but I'm talking it's way beyond me.
It's not me. Oh, yeah, sure, I have primarily the guy. But
well, listen, Ed, you have worked for 30 plus years and you have a microphone and a platform and you do have an audience that people do listen to you. So, yes, it is you making news with this and, bringing this up continually. We get it. You don't like it.
We got it.
But that isn't going to change the dynamic of bands going up there and doing that if they believe that these backing tracks that you were so disdainful of, it's not going to change their position on it. They're just going to go, you know what? We lack live. We're lacking live, and we feel that in order to give you a listenable show, we feel it's necessary to have this.
It all goes, see, and this is where I don't necessarily disagree with Eddie as far as I personally would like the bands to play.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can't play well, I don't want to see a shit show either. Not at $75, $100, $200, $1,000 a ticket.
Yeah, if you're
I want to see a good show.
Money, if you're paying that kind of money, but who's the biggest bands out there that you're paying that kind of money that are using backing tracks?
Probably Kiss.
Okay.
I'd imagine Kiss is probably the biggest one. I don't think Metallica uses tracks. I'm pretty sure they don't.
I don't think, we haven't seen them in a while, but, AC/DC, I don't believe they use them.
I don't even think they use them.
Because obviously they were not happy with Bon Scott's vocal ability to where he got the
not
boot.
Bon Scott, Brian Johnson.
Yeah,
Brian Johnson,
rather. Yeah, he got shown the door after 40 plus years.
I think it comes down to every band has to make the decision on what they need to do to provide entertainment to the fan.
And that's what it is. It's just entertainment.
Yeah, and it's up to, it's like anything else. It's just like, I'll use Dokken because it's the easiest one on this show. There are some people that like Dokken. There are some people that hate Dokken. There are some people that if Don covered the worst song in the world, they would still say it's great. And there's other people that if Don recorded the best song in the world, they say, well, it's shit because it's Dokken.
All right.
That's the way it is. Yeah. There's always going to be disagreements. The bands, each individual band does what they think is best for their shows.
Well, for a prime example, I saw Wasp on the tour back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very clear that Blackie was using backing tracks on some of the songs. And because there was times where he was lip syncing a song and he would pull away from the mic and the vocal was continuing without him being near the mic. Didn't ruin my experience at all.
Yeah, no.
It was Wasp. Haven't seen them in over a decade. And they played Wasp songs.
I never really heard a whole lot of people, even though it's very well known, saying, well, Kiss Alive sucks, even though it wasn't alive. It was fucking recorded in a studio.
Yeah, with an audience sound.
Yeah. I don't remember anybody complaining too much about the live tracks on GNR Lies, which was recorded in a studio, and then they put audience in.
Because I actually have the studio
Right.
version without the live.
Without the live, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. This is not new. This has been going on forever. You always hear, even when concert DVDs got released back in the day, what was the first thing you always heard? Well, we had to go back in and touch up the vocals, or touch up the guitars.
They had to sweeten it up.
Yeah, had to sweeten the mix, which means replay it.
Yeah, we had to go back and re-record the vocals on this because this wasn't that good.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not new. Eddie's just freaking out about it because it's putting him in the news.
Right. Let's hear some more from the Shriller.
All right.
Seen tons of artists speak out against it who play real and live. And the funny thing is, when all these bands are exposed for doing this, the narrative changes. Everybody does it. All that nonsense, right? So again, if you don't think this is a massive problem, it's everywhere.
Yes.
The latest.
Why is it a problem?
It's not a problem to me.
What's the problem?
You're not getting what you paid for in Ed's mind? It's only in Ed's mind.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If it's such a problem and the fans are really upset and holding the bands accountable per se, they wouldn't be on the road performing.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a gig or a contract or get a promoter to pay them the money to come into that venue and play if it was such a problem.
But and this is the piece that I think Eddie always forgets. He just thinks that people are just blindly going to shows. And some do. Some very well do. But let's be honest here. Me and you, anybody that's a true fan, a more harder core fan of these bands, any of these bands, Motley Crue, Rat, Warrant, Dokken, whoever, any of these bands, we all make decisions on if we'll go to see shows.
Sure.
You and I both made the decision. I'll use the stadium tour as one. We don't love those bands, but we don't hate those bands that were on the stadium tour in the summer. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them so many times that it wasn't like, man, I want to go see them again.
Mm-hmm. So we made decisions based on what we've seen of those guys, specifically Vince Neil. Vince Neil blows, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So since he blows, in my opinion, I will not go and spend money to see Vince Neil. That is me making the decision. That is me speaking with the money. Eddie thinks that, well, if a band is using tracks, well, I still have to go see them, or you fans still have to go see them. That's just not the case.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to say is if this was such a big problem, these guys couldn't land a gig.
Right.
If the fans were revolting because of backing tracks, the band would have no sellability and there would be no promoter out there who would actually hire them. And that's what it really boils down to. If a band is still playing and using backing tracks and they still have an audience that makes the promoter money, where's the problem?
There's not. I think, and this also goes back to Eddie's stance on how he doesn't get Steel Panther. Different topic, but sort of the same thing. I don't think Eddie Trunk understands nostalgia. And what I mean specifically is I don't think he understands what a nostalgic thing means to fans. There are people that don't give a shit how Motley Crue sounds. All they care about is that they're in the presence of those four guys.
Yeah,
because they're famous.
Yeah, they're just reliving the moment.
Yeah, they're reliving that time in 1988 when they got a blowjob in the back of the fucking Chevy at the Girls, Girls, Girls tour. Or they're remembering the, Home Sweet Home was their prom song. Or, whatever. But they're remembering that time. And the last thing that Motley Crue, and I'm not standing up for them, but the last thing Motley Crue is going to do is actually let you hear what those musicians sound like, because they're not very good. They never were very good. And now they can hide it, so they do. They hide it with a big production, and they hide it with backing tracks. And the fans are fine with it.
Yeah, because it's Motley Crue.
Yeah, it's Motley. It's those four guys that they want to see.
Hey, look, it's Motley.
Remember when Motley Crue had a band that actually had all four musicians that could play? And it sold dick?
Yeah.
It didn't sell dick. But now that they got guys that can't play, but it's those famous guys, now they sell out stadiums.
Yeah, of course.
Wake up, Eddie. Don't be so dumb.
Salvo and all this, having nothing to do with me, is the legendary drummer Carmine Appice. And in the last 24 hours, Carmine has made all kinds of news on every freaking website, although it looks like some of it has been taken down because I'm sure there was blowback about it. But Carmine, who I didn't even know this, is a friend of Mick Mars from Motley Crue.
Why would you know that?
Guitarist. Carmine.
Why would he know that?
I don't know. Well, because he's Ed Trunk.
Oh, so
He should have known that.
So Carmine has to call Ed to say, hey, is it all right if I'm friendly with Mick Mars?
No, it's just like, I wasn't aware of this. How did that one get by me?
Yeah. How did I miss this story?
Right.
Doesn't everything go through me?
Right.
Good question. What would you or Neely's top dollar be for a ticket, or do you guys mind if a band used tracks, and would you still pay to see them if you knew they used them? I think we're different on this one.
Well, if Led Zeppelin got back together for a show or two, or just a couple one-offs or something like that, and we know Robert Plant isn't at his peak anymore.
Yeah.
And if they use some old Zeppelin tracks to bolster Robert Plant's vocals, I would, if they played a really good set, I'd spend $1,000.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's rich. I know it's a lot of money, but if I had good seats and it was the three remaining members and Jason Bonham,
okay,
I would go.
What if they didn't use tracks? Would the price go up or down, or not at all?
It'd be the same.
Same.
It wouldn't matter to me if they. I guess what I should say is, I don't care if they used tracks or not.
Yeah. I think I'm in that book. I think I'm in that. I'm definitely not in the book for $1,000. $200 most I'm ever going to spend anymore. And even that's going to be a stretch. It ain't worth it to me anymore to see any of these guys, but I don't care about the tracks as long as it's a show.
Mm-hmm.
If it's, I'm going to throw these guys under the bus. I don't know why. It just popped into my head. But if it's just Candlebox and they're playing a show and it's just them playing, or Pearl Jam that doesn't do anything but play.
Staring down at your shoes.
Yeah. If it's that, I don't want to pay anything for a track show. But if it's like a
performance,
like a Meatloaf would do, like almost like artistic renditions of his songs, kind of, then I'm okay with some tracks. I'm okay with that. But yeah, just to see them play and then pretend that they're playing, no. Used to make me crazy when you watch that on American Bandstand, for God's sakes. I hated that too. So
yeah, it was very clear that they were lip syncing and playing to their studio track.
Yeah, it was like, all right, get back to the hot chicks dancing. I don't want to see this.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. But to me, I don't really care. If my choice is to hear a bad Blackie Lawless or stand 10 feet back and it looks like he's doing it, I'm okay with the faking it.
Yeah, didn't bother me at all. I enjoyed seeing Wasp.
Yeah. Well, Eddie doesn't, man.
Is an older guy, doesn't have much of a filter. I respect that. But he alleges that he's spoken to Mick Mars, and Mick Mars was unhappy about things in Motley Crue. I don't know if that's entirely a surprise. Motley Crue's, always had a decent level of dysfunction among those guys from time to time. But that he was one of the reasons why he didn't want to play in the band anymore is that, quote, everything was on tape, meaning the whole show is basically recorded. Stephen Pearcy, a couple weeks ago, made a statement about Motley Crue's show being, quote unquote, all on tape. alleging the bass isn't even live, the drum sounds aren't live, the vocals aren't live, only the lead vocal. Countless people have said this about Motley Crue. Motley Crue have said this themselves.
What?
Nicky admits it. Now, there are people out there that think that I'm giving Motley Crue a pass because they admit it. But I ask you this. If a band admits it, what are you supposed to do? Like, if a band's being transparent, Blackie admits it. He admitted it in an interview. Kiss didn't admit it, but their manager did. Nicky has admitted it and is proud, seems to be almost proud about it. What are you supposed to do? Just keep banging and banging and banging on? No. If you don't,
that's what you're doing.
But as long as the narrative gets rewritten as each band comes forward that's doing this, and it becomes the new normal, and there's no blowback from promoters, there's no blowback from fans, not only is it not going to stop, but what are you supposed to do?
Not go to the show, Ed.
Yeah, stay home.
Vote with your dollar then.
Yeah.
If it's so important to you that your band performs raw and untracked, then don't go.
Yeah. How about this, Eddie? If a band is using backing tracks, I put this challenge out to directly to Eddie Trunk. I challenge you, Ed.
I hope you're listening, Eddie.
I hope you're listening, Eddie, because I got
somebody in your camp is listening.
Yeah, because I got a challenge for you. How about you stop taking money to introduce those bands? How about that, Ed? How about instead of going on the cruise, if there's a band that's playing tracks on there, you don't go on that cruise.
Right.
Because you're promoting it by taking the money.
Yeah. Why don't you show some integrity?
Yeah, I mean, is he saying that he doesn't intro any bands that are using tracks? He's inviting the fans to come and see him in front of a band that's playing with tracks. He needs to think about what he's saying here.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, Ed.
Yeah, let's see it there, Eduardo. I guy. Jeez.
You either just move on and accept it and say that's what that band does and it's not for me. But if you wait in line and buy tickets to hear Computers,
it's not like that anymore, Ed. Nobody stands in line waiting for tickets.
Yeah.
What year do you think this is?
Yeah. Last I knew, you buy your tickets on the same computers that you're hearing. Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time anyone stood in line for tickets?
I don't know. It's been a while.
I mean, is there even
90s?
Is there even a ticket outlet somewhere anywhere that you could just walk up and go, "Give me 2 to Motley, please"?
There may be I know there is at the MGM. There is a ticket window.
That's their own venue.
Yeah, it's their own venue. I mean, it's not a Ticketmaster venue.
Not a Ticketmaster.
No.
It's just their will call or their own venue. That's all.
No, right here's Ticketmaster, right here.
Yeah, exactly. So who's standing in line waiting for their favorite band to get tickets for their favorite band?
Well, and this coming from this guy that hasn't bought a ticket in fucking 50 years. How many tickets you think Eddie Trunk has bought since the Megaforce days?
Very few, if any.
Yeah, if any. No, he can't. He spends more money on tickets to fly back and forth to his 2 palatial estates.
Right, of course.
I don't know if you know, but he has a second home in Las Vegas.
Second home in Las Vegas because that's where all the rock stars are living.
That's right.
Yeah, I've got a home right down the street from Stephen Piercy.
That's right.
Me and Vince Neil are neighbors.
Yeah, he posted, and again, I don't fault him for it. I mean, but he posted during the week. He posted a picture of him, Miles Kennedy, and his place, and he was like, "Look who stopped by my house today."
Okay.
It's like, all right, Ed, ease up. Ease up, need for attention guy. Jesus.
You're going to get much, much more of it. So I no doubt started this dialogue.
I no doubt started.
Stop it. Stop it. I no doubt started.
No doubt he started this.
Yes, it was all me.
I started this.
No, you have a platform and a microphone, and you have this dialogue. I don't know that you started it. Maybe you started it on a wider scale or a platform that you're heard.
He may have restarted it right now,
Yeah.
but it's a dialogue that's been going on for years, decades.
And here's the difference, Ed. This was just something that I just thought of.
Okay, well, it's not as important as Eddie, but go ahead.
If you go back in the day of Jackal, back in the 70s, bands played a show, and they didn't have much by way of multimedia back then.
Right.
There wasn't really, because the technology wasn't there.
Well, yeah, you couldn't lug a camera or a computer around.
Right, because, whatever. So bands, their draw was that they were obviously talented musicians and could sing and play and all these other things and stuff. But in this day and age, with EDM music and the big screens and the digital screens, and if you've ever been to the, recently seen, let's talk about an old school band, Scorpions.
Yeah.
They can obviously play. Klaus can still sing, and they play and do a great show, but their show is a show. Same as Kiss. Their show is a big production.
Right.
People aren't going, Paul Stanley's not sounding pitch perfect tonight. No, they're going, oh, look at that fire. Look at that flame. Holy shit, look at that smoke. Look at that, look at the lights and the crazy bullshit going on the stage.
Yeah.
Today, it's less about the musicianship and it's more about a show. Because the multimedia that is available for a show, now it's a big production.
Yeah.
So nobody's paying attention to see if Nikki Sixx is plunking the bass correctly, or if Tommy Lee is hitting all the drums and the cymbals correctly, or if Vince Neil is able to get 3 words out without being out of breath. They don't care. They're going, oh, look at the smoke and the fire, and look at the movement on the stage and the lights, this, that, and the other. It's a big production and it's a show.
Right.
The music, unfortunately, is secondary to that now.
It is, yeah. And why is Ed not screaming the blues about the other half, the visual aspect? He's screaming the blues about the sound, fair enough, but you look at any of these bands, what do they got? Like you were saying, they got these big screens behind them, huge, with movies that are synced to the songs, and they play off a click. They fire off of click tracks off the drums. That's all computerized too.
Yeah, it's all timing.
Yeah, it's all time, but it's all computers. It's all. It's not the old days where they drew out a giant curtain that said Leonard Skinner on the back of it, and that's how you knew Leonard Skinner was playing.
Exactly.
It's now a whole thing, but he doesn't give 2 shits about that.
Right.
And he's talking like this is a new thing. There's a little band out there you might have heard of called 9 Inch Nails. Remember them?
Oh, yeah.
They came out in the 80s, and they were all computerized. In the 80s.
Yeah, they were actually in the movie with Joan Jett and Michael J. Fox, The Light of Day.
Yeah, Light of Day, yeah.
Yeah, that movie was 89, and 9 Inch Nails were the band that they were, quote, unquote, having to compete against, because these new kids and their new sound.
That's right, their new sound.
Remember right at the end of the movie?
Yep.
They were going to have to start either stepping up their game, because now music is moving away from what Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett were doing.
Yeah, I know, dude. He's so out of touch with the rest of today. I'm not saying that I don't have a huge argument for his. I don't love the fact that bands are faking it either, but I don't care. Why does he care so fucking much? Is it just because that's his persona?
Well, it's like Tim. He's Tim. He's the American version of Tim. Well, I don't like that they're sniping at each other and they're getting, they're saying mean stuff and they're fighting and this, that, and the other. They created something great together and now they're fighting, and, mommy and daddy, quit fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
You're ruining my perception of what you guys used to be.
That's right. Right.
And that's what this is all about.
It really is.
You're ruining the perception of what I grew up with.
Yeah. My mystical dream in my head is ruined.
Exactly. I hate to tell you this, Ed, but we're all pushing 60. Sorry,
it's over.
that time in our life is over.
Yeah, it's over. We're getting into the phase now where we want to see acoustic music.
Yeah.
Confidently. I mean, this all started with all the headlines I made when I was outraged about the things I was seeing here.
Stop right there.
When I was outraged.
Can you scroll that back and play that one more time? I mean, Jesus Christ.
All the news that I made.
I made this happen. It's all about me.
Right.
Jesus.
I no doubt started this dialogue. I can say that confidently. I mean, this all started with all the headlines I made when I was outraged about the things that I was seeing and hearing. Others have now
he made headlines.
I like this next line that you just stopped, though. He goes, others are now making noise about it, but it started with me.
Right. I am the trailblazer here.
That's right.
Don't
I'm exposing this.
For a second.
I'm exposing this.
Right. I'm ripping the veil off so
That's
you
right.
can see what goes on behind the scenes, and it's not pretty, folks.
No, it's not.
up the ball. And the thing with Carmine saying this about Mick, I mean, I think it's a couple things. It's because he's saying it's one of the reasons why Mick left the band. But is it news that Motley does this? They've admitted it. All you got to do is watch every day. There's a video on YouTube, microphones above people's heads and the vocals coming out. I mean, I don't know. Again, this isn't piling on all these bands that do it. It's not like I hate them. It's not like it's a personal thing. It's not for me. It's not. I've no, unless a band's on a festival or something I'm doing, I don't have an interest in hearing bands' computers. I have an interest in going to see bands that plug in and play live. That's across the board. I don't care who it is. But as far as the broader picture, until promoters care, and they don't, all they care about is what sells tickets.
Well, that's what a promoter does.
He's not out there to give you anything but he's not out there to give you anything.
It's like, the integrity of your band is questionable. I can't have you play in my venue.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got people lined up out the door here ready to come in here and see a show. So unless you guys straighten up and actually play a real show, I'm canceling the show tonight.
Well, I would book you and make $3 million tonight, but unfortunately, you're using backing tracks, so Kiss, beat it.
And I'm a man of integrity.
That's right. Stop it. The promoter's job is to make money.
I can't, with good conscience, hire you and sell the place out and pocket that money, knowing that you guys did backing tracks.
When's the last time he flew out somewhere and did stage intros on his dime because it was a good band? When's the last time Eddie Trunk did that? When's the last time Eddie Trunk didn't accept a check in order to fly out and do, hey, everybody, it's Firehouse? I mean, come on. He's not doing what he's preaching. Period. He may like these bands. If he likes them so much, why isn't he out there introing them for free? Because he's out to make money. Yeah. Same as the promoter. So Shut up, Eddie. Jesus, idiot.
And until fans care and say, I'm not going because I want, if it's not live, it's never stopping.
Yep, I just made that point.
Yeah.
Vote with your dollar. If it means so much to you, then don't go.
And clearly it doesn't mean that much to most people, Ed. Sorry.
And that's why you're going to see this trend more and more of bands admitting it, because they're realizing there's no blowback. Because people are rewriting the narrative and saying, well, yeah, now it's cool. Or, because they're only doing it a certain. It's everywhere. I think we're at like easily 50% now of the bands on the road. Can tell you as I'm sitting here, the Winery Dogs are going to go up there and play totally live the next couple days. There's a lot of bands that do, but there's a ton of bands that don't, and it's all at different levels, and how extreme it is and how much it is on varying degrees. But there are some bands where it's way over the top, and Carmine alleges that Mick, was so disenfranchised and upset about it as one of the reasons. Of course, the health stuff, but that's one of the reasons why, because he wasn't even able to play because all his guitars were on tracks. I'm not saying that. That's what Carmine alleges in talking to Mick. Mick Mars has not said a word since he's been out of Motley Crue. So when and if he ever does an interview, whether it's with me or anyone else,
I'm going to get that exclusive Mick Mars interview where he dumps the dirt.
He might go somewhere else, but probably not. It'll be with me.
It'll be me.
It'll be me.
Yeah. Stop it. I'm sure Mick has an agreement with the Motley that he will not be bad mouthing anyone.
I'm quite sure there's an NDA that's saying Mick will be saying nothing.
Yes.
we'll find out about some of this stuff. But the last thing on this, which is why I think, unless you've been living under a rock, you may not know this. But again, Motley's transparent about it. I'm not saying that makes it right, but they've said it. So how that's even news, I don't know. And the other,
then why are you reporting it?
Yeah, you're talking about it again.
Yeah, that's why it's news, dickhead, because you're talking about it.
Right.
Remember, everything you say is news.
Right.
That's what you've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, you make the news.
You are the news. You're Eddie Trunk.
He's the news maker.
He is.
He's like Mentos. He's the news maker. He's the Mentos of rock and roll.
He really is.
The other thing is this. 10 years ago, on that show, Mick Mars said it on TV, on my show,
on my show.
He said it. This guy can't throw himself in there enough, can he?
He is the creator of everything.
Yeah.
On camera, unprovoked. If you can find the tape of when Mick Mars was on that metal show, he said something like, I don't know, I just said something like, hey, Mick, how's it going? And he goes, it's okay, but there's a little bit too much of that Britney Spears shit going on, if you know what I'm talking about. That's exactly what he said. And I said, what are you talking about? And he's talked about tracks 10 years ago, at least.
At least.
I hate to tell you, Ed, but backing tracks and, enhancing tracks have been going on, as Chris said earlier, since God knows when.
Since the beginning of music.
Exactly. This isn't recent.
No. I wonder what Eddie thought about, like, the Temptations and shit like that had no band that basically just sang to a record. Was that bad? That's tracks, right?
That it is.
And how many of those bands were there? So basically, in Ed's world, all of Motown was a sham.
Right.
Because none of them played with actual bands.
Well, let's go to the movie The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. They recorded stuff.
Most of the bands that you heard in the 60s and through the 70s never even played on their own records. How about
it was the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. Not even the Beach Boys.
That's right.
The multi platinum selling Beach
Sure.
Boys.
Well, hell, one of the biggest sellers of all time, Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean, Elvis did almost all of his stuff was just him singing over tracks, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of it.
He didn't sing with band. Like, the only time he sang with a band was when he was on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to talk about the integrity of bands playing their own music and stuff, if you ever watch, and I highly recommend that. I've watched this at least 3 times. In fact, I watched it again last week. Was The Wrecking Crew?
That's a good movie.
That is so good. That's so good. Hearing from people like Carol Kay and all the other people that were in The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
And how many records that they all played on that we all know that shaped the whole music landscape that was popular radio.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yep. And hardly anybody knows it.
And nobody knew it.
Nobody knew it. And nobody cared once it was public. Yeah. None of us are looking back now and going, oh, the Four Tops, they sucked because the Wrecking Crew played their music.
Yeah. People are still playing Beach Boys' Good Vibrations.
Of course. Don't give a shit.
What? That isn't Dennis and Carl Wilson playing on that? No, it's The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
God damn you, Brian. You brought in Scabs.
You ruined it for me, man.
I'm never playing Pet Sounds ever again. That
Never.
sucked. Had I not known it wasn't the real guys, and I knew it was Glenn Campbell on guitar instead of,
Yeah.
Carl Wilson, forget it.
That's right. It's crap.
Yeah. So stupid.
It's not like there's no precedent for this. Mick was complaining on a national TV show 10 years ago to me about
A national TV show.
And it was my show.
Yeah, it was a cable TV show.
It was my nationally syndicated TV show. One market.
Yeah.
One station.
Yeah.
Again, go to what you want. See what you want. I can't be the track police here.
You can't.
Oh, he's going to withhold the music from you, because if it was up to me, you wouldn't get any of this.
That's right. It sounds to me like he's being the track police.
Yeah, he is.
He's the one pointing out every band that's using them.
Yep. Go ahead, spend your money foolishly and go see these posers.
Yeah.
Go ahead, see if I care.
Wonder if he thinks that like Robert De Niro really is a gangster. I wonder if he believes that. Do you think so?
I'm sure he is.
I mean, do you think he thinks that the guy that plays Spider-Man really can fucking swing through town and stuff? I mean, come on, Ed. It's entertainment.
See, you're just cheapening the music. Just
Am I?
Throwing the label entertainment on it.
Oh, all right.
You're letting these people, these shysters, get away with their ruse.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what you're doing. You're making it acceptable.
He's taking such a hard stance on such a stupid issue.
It is. People go because they just want to be entertained.
Yes. Man. All right, Eddie.
Made my point. I know what's real and what's not. You should be able to figure it out pretty closely too. And again, fans of people have bands that they love. When they find this out, they conveniently find a way to justify it because it's their band doing it. Like in the case of Kiss, Paul and Gene made fun of bands that did this. Pull the press. Come on. Everyone rewrites the narrative as needed. I'm seeing stuff about Ozzy getting ready to tour in a friggin' wheelchair, considering he hasn't been able to sing for 25 years. And he's going to go out in a wheel? Like, what? Like, what the hell?
Well, what do you want? Wait a minute. Does he want him to perform at the best that he can perform, or does he want him to fucking use tracks? And let's face it, he knows as well as I do that Whitfield Crane is singing for Ozzy anyway behind the screen.
Shh.
Oh, am I not supposed to say that?
Shh. God damn it, Chris.
Oh, wait a minute. Allegedly.
Oh.
Allegedly. I mean, come on. Get out of here. I like this. Rodney Dangerfield did his own diving stunts in back to school.
He did, didn't he?
Must have. Rodney must have been a fucking Olympic diver.
He did the triple Lindy.
That's right.
Get lathered up about this today. I really don't. But I mean, it's like
too late.
Have some respect for your legacy and whatever. And especially if you got $10 kajillion and you don't need to tour, what are you doing? Go.
Oh, so basically what you're saying is if you don't have to tour anymore, just quit it, because now you're going to ruin shit.
He brings up another point that I wholeheartedly disagree with. Fans, and I'm putting him in that bucket of fans.
Mm-hmm.
Fans think that bands care about the legacy that they've created.
Nope.
They do not.
Yeah, look at Journey.
Look at any of them.
Yeah, well, look at Journey especially.
Yeah. Well, Journey's a big one that's doing it poor. They don't care. It's their job. This is just like how much, before I owned my own business, I care about my own business because it's my own. When I worked for the insurance company, I didn't give two fucks what happened at the insurance company. I didn't care what their stock price was. I didn't give a shit if they had a good, strong quarter. I didn't give a shit if every car that was insuring them crashed. I didn't care. It was just my job.
Yeah, as long as my paycheck cash at the bank, that's all I cared about.
That is what this is to most of these bands. They found a way to have a song or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 that people liked, and it became their job to go out year after year, day after day, and present that as their job. It's their fucking job. You guys thinking that, well, I'm fucking AC/DC and No, they don't think that. They just don't think that. It's just not the way it is. Some of them do, but most of them do not.
Yeah, they can just look out and go, wow, we got a pretty packed house tonight.
Yeah.
Cool. People are still coming to see us.
Yeah. And they're happy about that, but not because there's a lot of people. They're more happy about it because their thought is, well, next time I won't have to take a pay cut.
Right.
That's why. It's a job. Get it through your head. It's a fucking job. God.
Go paint. Go whatever. But I mean, it's funny because, and I'll be honest with you, Carmine texted me this morning, but I didn't talk to him about it because I guess he's blindsided by how much attention his comments got. But, you know, I mean, I don't know how that's news. I mean, I guess the news is because he's saying that Mick said it led to him leaving the band, but I don't know that part of it to be true or not. But I do know Mick brought it up on my TV show over
It's all about him.
Yes.
10 years ago. And if a band is honest about it and the fans still go and are into it, then what are you going to do? I don't even understand.
Do you want to do something about it, Ed? Is that the deal?
Yeah, why doesn't he start the no tracks tour?
Yeah. But the thing is what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because I'm just angry. I can't do something about it. I just want to go up there and just beat them over their heads with their own guitars.
Yeah, with their computers.
Yeah. Ellen Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hailing Kill, I wanted to ask a question because you guys were just talking about AC/DC, or you mentioned them at least.
Yes.
Do you think that this appearance that they're going to make in October is going to lead to other stuff?
I'm sure that this promoter is trying to get the biggest bands in hard rock and metal to do the show, and I'm sure AC/DC is available. And it's just like, yeah, might as well throw AC/DC on the bill if they're willing to negotiate or whatever their price might be.
Yeah, well, they've already confirmed to be doing it. But the other thing is you're exactly right. All that you guys are saying is exactly right. As pissed off as I am with Mickey Six and the fact that they're touring with John 5, when they come to Australia, of course I'm going to go because I love the songs and I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point, Tim.
Yeah, he's going to go. I'm going.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck Eddie Trunk. I'm going knowing that they're playing tracks.
Spend my hard-earned doubloons and go. The track street boy.
In the case of Motley, why they have to do it. They got a great guitar player. Their music isn't like super intricate. Sure, there's backing vocals. They got 3 women out there. I don't understand even the point of it. I'm sure they're more than capable of playing that stuff and making it sound great, plugged in and played. But I don't know.
Stop right there. Stop.
Motley has a multi media show.
Yes.
And I'm sure that if they are playing backing tracks, which has been confirmed that they are, it just fills the sound.
Right.
It just makes the sound much more bigger or amplifies it or bolsters it. That's all.
I think it's more than that with Motley. Mm-hmm. Let's analyze the band here. John 5 does not need backing tracks.
No, of course
if
not.
they're using tracks for him, I don't know why, because I've watched enough of his stupid Instagram Motley Mondays to know he can play these things note perfect.
Of course. I mean, that's why he's John 5.
Yeah.
how we even
He's-
know who he is.
So he probably is not. If I had to guess, I would say the only reason they would use tracks with him is for timing purpose. That's it. That's the only reason.
We're just making the sound
Yeah.
better.
But now let's get to the other three that are the important part, though. If anybody needs backing tracks more than Vince Neil, I don't know who it is. Vince is terrible when he sings. So it does nothing but enhance the show to have Vince lip sync. That's fine. But the other two guys, because this is what Ed's talking about, that he doesn't get that they need the tracks, probably technically true until you analyze what those guys do. Tommy Lee has always been a showman / drummer, not a drummer / showman. He's always been flailing the sticks and jumping up and down and flipping over and, all the bullshit. So if he can't do that anymore, but they still want to give the big show, which Motley does with all the smoke and fire and shit going up and down and craziness, then they put the tracks in there so that people's visual will be of the big show. And the same with Nicky. Everybody has seen the Home Sweet Home video where Nicky's rolling down the fucking steps, while he's playing his bass.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Nicky does. He runs around, he acts like a fool, and he can't play accurately when he's doing that. So they enhance it with tracks so he can go crazy.
And then not only that, but the harmony vocals.
Yeah. He's not doing that if he's running around and rolling around on the floor and running back and forth for an hour and a half. He's an old man. He's in shape, but he's still an old man. Still hard to fucking run around for 90 minutes. It's with Motley Crue, I think it's more about the visual than it is about the need.
Again, it's the big performance.
Yeah, it's a big show. It's supposed to be a show. But dude does not want to get it. He doesn't want to get it. It's not that he doesn't get it. He just doesn't want to get it. Okay.
It's hard to fathom, but all I can say is it's never ending as long as people keep making excuses for it.
It's not excuses. It's a different way that we see performances these days.
Mm-hmm.
If it was in the 70s into the 80s where bands didn't really have much of a stage show, they had to perform and prove their chops. But today, it's about the show now. It's less about the performing, the individual musician and all this. It's about the big show. Every show that you see on YouTube these days, aside from the smaller bands and stuff, it's a big production.
Of course, yeah. Even to smaller venues. Like Scorpions plays what, like 5,000-6,000 seaters?
Oh,
Are they bigger than that?
Oh yeah, they play arenas.
But they have the giant
Massive.
stage.
It's massive.
And when they flip over to some of those backgrounds that are flipping around, I mean that shit takes all of your focus off of the band itself.
Yeah.
It's huge. So, it's just a different era. Ed is really coming off like the old man in the room.
Yeah, he is. It's a different way of doing shows these days, Ed. It's no longer about the individual Jimmy Pages of the world or whatever. It's a big show now.
Yeah. Look at Jackal. 70 shows ruled. No, it's the performance for me. Yeah, that's why you're old. That's why you're old, because that way doesn't work anymore.
It was a different era.
Yeah.
Say it's going to be the new norm. Promoters don't care, and fans still go, and tickets still sell. It will never end. It will only get worse.
Yeah.
So why talk about it?
The fans now, in my opinion, the future of rock and roll, the validity of rock and roll.
Oh, validity. That's what it is. This is not a valid form of music anymore because it's all fake. It's AI, man.
That's right.
It's just a different era now.
Yep.
Is in the fans hands, and you guys want to make excuses for it and say it's fine and whatever. Then get ready for nothing but computers. We're getting to the point the bands aren't even going to show up. Just watch a hologram. Anyway,
and they have,
and they did.
So Ed, just accept it.
Yeah, I mean, even that, the Dio thing is what 10 years old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. hate to admit it to you, Ed, but you're a dinosaur.
Yeah, you're old now.
Yeah, you're a dinosaur.
Didn't even want to spend that much time on it, but it's been the talking point of the last 24 hours online. And there'll be another one in a couple days with another band. I mean, I just don't know how much more you have to see what's going on here. But Motley is the last band on the planet anyone should be shocked about, because they've been saying they're doing it for years.
Easy, Eddie. Easy.
Nobody's shocked about it. Ed.
Nobody's shocked except Ed.
Nobody's shocked about it.
Nobody cares. Nobody went to those Motley shows thinking, man, I think these guys are playing all their own stuff.
Wait a minute. Are they lip syncing?
This can't be. That's Motley Crue, the bastions of integrity. Come on.
So dumb. Yeah, he certain his argument is definitely an argument that maybe been valid 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not like
over.
that anymore.
No. It's over, and he needs to stop being, if he really doesn't give a shit, if just let it go. Don't promote those bands. Don't play them on your show.
Yeah, and certainly don't introduce them.
Yeah. Don't intro them. Don't take money to be out in front of them if they're ripping off the fans. Would he loan his name? If there was a used car lot that fucking ripped everybody off, would he put his name out in front of it? Hey, I'm Eddie Trunk. Come on down here. I stole your money, motors. Is he going to do that? No. So don't put your name out. They're playing tracks. Don't intro them.
Yeah.
I'll give back 2 of these 3 bands that I'm making $5,000 to intro used tracks. So I'm only going to take $1,500 tonight. You can keep the other $3,500.
Sure.
Because I won't be introing those bands because they use tracks.
Yeah, because my integrity won't allow me to take the money.
Yeah. His integrity lets him take that money just fine. I guarantee you he'll be on the next fucking Monsters of Rock cruise introducing 15 of the 20 bands that are using backing tracks and be happy to do it.
All right. Well, that wraps up our good friend Edward Trunk.
Yes, the Trunkmeister. At it again. Shrilling as always.
All right. Well, let's take a break here. So what would you like to hear?
Well, somebody said it in the chat room. I agree with them. Sabbath from Dehumanizer. I am Eddie Trunk.
Exactly. Me. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Some Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Let's see where we at here. Where are you, bees? In the Killer Bees.
In the bees, baby.
Right. But again, he's just out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to, is that Ed is just out of touch.
Yeah, he's starting to be the old guy in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Ed. I mean, I've hung out with you on numerous. I hung out with Eddie on numerous occasions, and he knows me by name.
Yes,
and
of course he does.
He's aware of this show and the fact that I created this show.
Yes, Eddie.
But he's living in an era that's gone by.
Yeah, it's over.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to play a few tunes. We will come back and we will do some more stuff. So here it is. It's Black Sabbath featuring Ronnie James Dio and lead vocal with I, me, exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
Hello.